I shut off my camera.
All right. First Monday of February. Today's call is Understanding Fitness Goals, the reality of achieving and maintaining your ideal physique. Wouldn't that be great if we could just all snap our fingers, get our ideal physique, and then be able to keep it for the rest of our lives? And hopefully, after this call, that might feel a little bit more like a reality. I don't know. Um, so I'm super excited to talk about this today because I don't see enough content realistically showing people what it takes to not only reach a physique goal, but then what life looks like afterward when you're maintaining that physique or one that is similar. So most of us probably have an idea of our ideal physique, whether it's someone we see online or a younger version of ourselves that maybe didn't have that in specific areas. um, but there are things we would all like to improve on or change about our physique. So before we even get started, I just want to say that there is nothing wrong with having an aesthetic fitness goal. Like, don't let anyone ever shame you for wanting to look good. So health is super important. Yes, of course, that's number one, but like, why not look good while you're doing it? So yes, while this call is focused a little bit on aesthetics and how you're going to be looking, the health stuff comes along with it too. So we're not saying, get to a super, super low body fat percentage just to look a certain way. Please prioritize your health first. But today we're going to talk about how you be looking. So let's
Well,
get
can I say
into
something
it.
about that too?
Yeah.
Is when I get new clients that want to jump on board, a lot of them, their first thing is, I want to look like I work out. So they're doing it, they're doing all the things, but they say, I want to look like I work out, like something's missing. So everybody, yeah, it's like, yes, it's overall health. Um, sorry, I'm climbing uphill, so I'm out of breath right now.
Heavy breathing.
Yes, so sorry about that. But I mean, and the reality is, like, yes, we all healthy body is going to look good on the outside too. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Well, and it is possible to be someone who does work out and maybe does eat well enough, but might not look as like they might not feel like you can see the effort in their physique. And that's something where like I think a lot of coaches help with because we kind of tighten up loose ends here and there and we put numbers to things that might be just like feelings or like, oh yeah, I do this a lot, or no, I don't drink that often. But when you actually put numbers on it, stuff like that can make a big difference. So coaches can help with tightening up a physique of someone who does already like walk the walk as well. It's not just about like starting new goals. Shalice muted herself so that we can't hear her cardio. um, so yeah, well, let's get into it. Our first order of business is to ask yourself, who is the person that lives in your goal body? So if you answered a fitness influencer or a fitness model, or a professional athlete or a health coach, then this is a good time to listen. I'm sure you know these people dedicate a lot of time to their physique. So you might view them as someone who is always consistent and they use motivation and discipline to make sure that they're on track every single day. So maybe you start doing the same things that they're doing and you have the same consistency in your routine. But time goes by. It's been, let's say, 6 months of you consistently doing like what they were doing, and you have that same amount of dedication, and you still don't look like them. So even if you are doing like everything right, the incredibly important variable that you can't show in like a 30-second Instagram reel is time. So if you look up anyone who works in the health and fitness industry that you would say has like an impressive or goal worthy physique, I can pretty much guarantee you that they have at least 10 years of consistent behavior when it comes to their workouts, nutrition, and recovery. Same goes for athletes. So professional athletes, usually they've played their sport for their entire life. They practiced multiple times per week, every single week. Um, that's like that's a lot of dedication, and I think it's easy as adults to forget, like, when you played sports when you were a kid, you were practicing all the time. Like, you did it so, so, so often. And as adults, it's like, oh, well, I used to do this, or you feel like you still have that same skill, but the actual time you put into your health, and movement and activity in general seriously declines for a lot of people. So it's pretty safe to assume that these like fitness professionals that you might look up to, they do what they do in part just because they love it. So all of the practices and the workouts and the meal preps, the modified social events, the majority of the time, those things don't seem to them like sacrifices, and they were just part of their routine. And it's an action that's fueled by that like magical mixture of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation that we talked about on one of our previous calls. So if you take all of that, compare that fitness professional routine that we just talked about to your current routine, ask yourself where the gaps are. So like, have you found a love for movement? Have you found nourishing whole foods that you can prepare on a regular basis? Do you prioritize stress relief and rest? Important. Um, And like, serious be honest with yourself. Are you expecting to see results that come from a decade of work in a tenth of the time? Like, that's a real question you have to ask yourself. I had to ask myself that question a lot. Um, and the best physiques are always earned. I don't care who you are, what you're doing. It's always earned. So well, I think it would kind of be cool to talk a little bit about what it feels like to earn a physique or to walk around in a physique that is earned. And Shalase, um, I'm gonna say that that's something that you have done and do, and now you have like a totally different take on your physique and a like kind of like a rejuvenated love for working out. I'm sure after transitioning away from the stage and like going back to the gym. So I don't want to put you too much on the spot, but if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Uh, yeah, I mean, for 8+ years of my life, it was always a goal of what someone else wanted to see in my physique, right? You have to build this
Mhm.
up, you have to grow this has to change, all the things. And so, um, I mean, it was great to go up there and know that, like, well, shit, these people down here who are judging me, um, think I have a good enough physique to be presented on the Olympia stage or, be in the top 10 or whatever it was. Um, but it's also mentally challenging a little bit too, because you get that side where um, you work your ass off to do everything that they tell you to do and grow. So that part, um, I mean, can be difficult to deal with mentally as well. But yeah, I mean, like you said, Taylor, like it wasn't just those 8 years of competing in bodybuilding either. Like I was doing this long, long before I competed or stepped on stage. Like I was, teaching group classes um, at a commercial gym and, you know, cycling and doing a lot of different things. So, um, I mean, it's a grind to earn that body, like you were talking about. Like there are sacrifices, there are lifestyle changes that have to happen. A lot of no's, um, but a lot of yeses to good things too, for sure. It I think one of the biggest things it ever taught me was to really pay attention to my body. I think bodybuilding was, um, I'm just competing in general, just being an athlete, um, taught me to really pay attention to how food affected me. Like before, it didn't matter. Like I just ate just whatever. And then
Yeah.
I started to really pay attention to how it affected my body. And, certain movements affected my body and all that kind of stuff. So, um, and then now, you know, being out of or off the stage, I guess, and out of competing, a totally different respect for the gym and my body. And like you said, rejuvenation of I'm going in there because I'm training because I love it. And I'm doing it because, I mean, one, it's always been my lifestyle. I've always been an athlete. And, but I'm going in there because of what I want to do and the physique I want to have, and an appreciation for my body of what it's allowed me to do. Going to the biggest extremes, the lowest body fats ever, pushing myself when I thought I couldn't, mentally, physically, all the things, emotionally. And now just, still doing it, still pushing myself in the gym just because I love how it makes me feel in general in life, like being out here, walking my dogs, getting up and being able to do things that I enjoy doing just
Mhm.
because. Sorry for rambling.
No, you're not rambling. Yeah, so when you're, I mean, when you've taken your body to those extremes that you were talking about, it's very cool to be able to like to have the ability to turn that off like you kind of have where you're still working out hard, but now you're doing it in like this idea of instead of like restriction, it's like abundance of like you can do all the workouts, you can love all the workouts you do, you can love all the food that you eat and like find what makes you feel the best, and it's all this like really positive, it's like little touchy feely, makes you all happy inside. um but I have to say, like for you, when whether it's now as you're walking around or it was before when you were bodybuilding, what were some of the things that like made it worth it to you? Was it the grocery store compliments where someone comes up to you and is like, yo, what do you do, like you're so jacked? Was it like moments in the gym where you'd look at yourself and say, wow, I've come so far, like a combo?
I might get emotional on that one.
Oh boy, okay,
uh, I
good.
mean, there. I guess there's like so many little moments along the way. Like one, it's definitely like when you. And I tell everybody, competitors, this all the time. Like that moment you step off the stage and you look back and reflect on the 3 4 year whatever it was that you were in prep, and you're like thinking about all the things you overcame during that time. um that's a part of it. Like you pushed yourself mentally to get past those struggles, and you were still able to get up there and do the thing, um but it definitely, I mean, honestly, it was just really cool to see what my body could do. That was the fun part. Like,
Mhm. Oh no, she dropped. Well, to see what her body can do. Yeah, I mean, I totally understand that. Like more than getting on stage for me, honestly. Like getting on stage was very cool and it was cool to get lean, but what was cooler than that was building muscle. And I know like you ladies on the call can relate to that as well. Like when you actually spend time feeding yourself, getting yourself in a really, really good spot so your body's happy and it like feels comfortable at a good body fat level. Like you have your period, you are building muscle and you're eating and just thriving. Like that's where some crazy magic happens. I mean, the transformation that Shalace just posted um, with, I think it was Lauren. Um, yeah, I think it was Lauren, where her glutes like came out of nowhere, shoulders came out of nowhere, like just blossomed with all of this beautiful muscle. It's so cool how you truly can like transform your body in that way. Um, we'll go back to that question, but while Shalace is still rejoining, I don't think I have to let her back in. I think she can just join. I will continue talking. So an earned physique, walking around in that should feel good to you. Other people may or may not notice, but there's a lot of moments along the way, like Shalace mentioned, where you feel good about all of the work that you've put in to have that physique. And it's not just in the times when you're changing, it's also the time when you're just existing. Because like day to day, you're not feeling like you are constantly changing. You're just in the body that you're in. Like, this is my current state. And like, yes, there may be a future version you want to get to. There may be a past version that wasn't quite where you are now. But what other people see is where you are today. So if other people and yourself, when you're looking in the mirror, um, are seeing these improvements, then that's very real. And like, you should be proud of that. That's like what this whole call is about. Um, so before we move on from this idea of like fitness professionals being your goal physique or having a physique that is a goal for you, I wanted to mention, and I don't want to dwell on this because I truly believe that the vast majority of people can achieve their goal physique. But I have to say it. Please keep in mind that there are a large number of fitness professionals whose physiques are not just a result of eating well and exercising. So, of course, we know about PEDs, we know about GLP-1s now, cosmetic surgeries and treatments, things like fillers, Botox. This is just part of the world that we live in today. So, if these things are not something that you want to participate in, whether that is like a short term thing or a long term thing, then just be aware of the physiques that you are comparing yourself to. Natural or unaltered athletes, they can achieve amazing results where they look and feel great. So you don't have to participate. You also don't have to abstain. It's totally up to you how you want to use whatever tools you want to as safely as possible, whatever that means. Um, but yeah, you can achieve some pretty amazing things without like just by eating and working out and recovering. So let's move this dog. Um, if you are somebody whose goal body is a previous version of yourself, I kind of mentioned this at the beginning, I would highly encourage you to create a new version of yourself for your goal instead of comparing yourself to pictures from like 10 years ago. So as we age, our bodies change. There is nothing we can do about that, but muscle mass and body fat percentage can always be controlled. So you may never look the way that you did when you were like 20, but your goal, like that should be a good thing. Your goal should be to look better than you were looking when you were 20. And chances are you weren't taking great care of yourself. Like shout out to top ramen and bean and cheese burritos. But like chances are you were not taking the best care of yourself when you were 20 anyway. So raise the bar for yourself, create a new goal, decide what that looks like, and then start working toward that. So now that we've had a little bit of real talk about the goal physique that you might have in mind, the next thing I wanted to talk about was the fact of like diminishing returns. So when you're just getting started with a fitness goal, you're often going from 0 to 100 in one way or another. So in the early days, you might find that even small efforts can lead to big changes. But as time goes on, more effort is going to be required to continue making progress, and progress will eventually slow down. That's just a fact. You can't if you're like doing fat loss, you can't lose like 2 pounds a week forever. If you are trying to build muscle, you might have a big increase when you first start training hard and you master like intensity and all these other variables. But then it will slow down, and a lot of times, uh, what you're not even like gaining too much size. It's like the the way that you can be more efficient with your workouts. So at least, I mean, not specifically for bodybuilders, but for lifestyle clients a lot of times. So I don't say this to discourage anyone or build up this fear of like the dreaded plateau, but it is important to know that over time you will need to put in more effort to continue to improve. And there may come a time where you are putting in the max amount of effort that you are willing to, and then you feel like you're not getting results fast enough. So that's kind of where the variable of time that I mentioned comes in. Is like if you love your routine, great. Continue doing it for a long time. Slowly get better and better. And then one day you may wake up and realize, like, I am in my dream physique. And that could be a combination of you realizing that the body you've created is capable and you do love the way that it looks, and it doesn't have to be this perfect version that you may have imagined initially, which is totally okay. Or maybe it is that perfect version and you're like, I did it. I'm here. And that's so amazing. But the time is the key variable there. No matter who you are, what your goal is, it's going to require a lot of time. Um, and then if you happen to not like your routine, then it might even start to feel like a chore. And that goal physique that you've been working so hard for, it might not seem worth it. And maybe this is when you reevaluate your goal based on what you've learned during the process and make it something that's more realistic for you. And you start appreciating different things about your body. And of course, this is assuming you are in a healthy spot when you're saying this. You've built a healthy body, you do have a healthy body fat percentage, and you've built up some muscle, then it's totally okay to say, I'm happy with this. I don't need any more or any less, and this is great. Like that's an amazing place to be in. Just satisfied with the work that you've put in and then knowing how to keep it. And like if I'm being honest, when your progress does begin to slow and you find your maximum desired effort for your fitness goals, that feels like maintenance, even if you are making very slow progress, just because of how slow the progress is. So, for people who do love their routine and want to continue progressing while they live their normal lives, this is the goal. So, on one of our December group calls, we talked about maintenance being the goal. I mean, I think all of these themes are just going to keep popping up in these calls. Um, it really is the goal. And maintenance can just mean a more relaxed approach to progress. Um, not literally the definition, but if you know what I'm saying, to where like if progress is slow enough, you won't really notice it, but you can still keep moving forward. And like over a long period of time, you will see those changes if you keep pushing yourself. So I think this is probably why so many coaches preach balance to our clients. Because at some point, fitness can't feel like your entire life anymore. Like it's what controls all of your day. Um, it does need to become part of your life. It can't be something you're constantly forcing. So, what does that actually mean? And what does it really take to maintain a physique that you have worked for? So let's say that you hired a coach, you went through a health phase where you were able to find your maintenance calories and you got into a consistent exercise routine, and maybe you even built a little bit of muscle. And then you followed through with a calorie deficit in order, and you increased your activity as well. And then you lost some fat. So you're thrilled with your progress, you're happy with how you look, but you're like getting a little bit burnt out from the diet and the extra exercise, and it's been a couple months now. Your energy is starting to dip. Motivation is quickly declining. So how do you keep what you worked so hard to earn? And I think that's probably the big question for today's call. Um, I don't know if Shalise is gonna hop back on, so hopefully she can. But um, the good news is that forcing change, whether it is for fat loss or muscle growth, is always going to require more effort than maintaining your current physique. The bad news, though, is that if you were hoping you could stop doing everything that you started in order to make progress and keep the results forever, unfortunately, that is not the case. So, um, I think no matter what your goal is, it will probably involve keeping a daily step target, tracking your food for approximate macros, and then getting activity as many times per week as you can. Like most people are not going to be over exercising. So if you can get out and go for a walk, go for a run, get a workout in, do a Pilates class, yoga, whatever it is, like all of that activity is going to really, really benefit you, especially in a maintenance phase when you might not be as strict with like, okay, I have to go to the gym 5 times a week and push really hard every single workout, whatever it is. So, of course, it depends on your body and your goals, but I'll give you guys some guidelines that are a good starting point for a generally healthy adult who will look and feel good and have some muscle and can probably run like at least a mile at a decent pace. Which I think are great goals for every adult to be able to do all those things. Um, so I would say 5,000 steps minimum per day. And the reason I say 5,000 and not the like a lot of people will say 7,500 or 10,000, those definitely are better. The more, the merrier. um, but I say 5K because I think it is very realistic for people who have desk jobs. I had a desk job for like 8 years. And a lot of times I would get up at the end of my workday at 5 p.m. or 5:30, whenever I ended up stopping work. And I'd have like 1,800 steps, maybe 2,200 if I was lucky. So that 5K a day means, okay, you just have to go for one walk, one dedicated walk um, during the day. And it's like, if you can get outside and do one walk a day, like that's a win. So I say 5K steps minimum. I don't mean 5K average though. That's where it comes in is like, if you're measuring your average, it probably should be closer to 7,500. But 5,000 minimum is a really good marker to say, hey, as long as I hit 5,000 today, like I'm good. I'll get more another day, but 5,000 is that absolute minimum. I'm going to be kind of strict here on the next one. Ideally, you don't drink alcohol and you have minimal stimulants, nicotine, caffeine. What other ones are really popular? I mean, any sort of medication that would be considered a stimulant that is not prescribed by a doctor. Or I should say drug, not necessarily medication. So I'm gonna go hard. No alcohol. Are no benefits of drinking alcohol. So that's a big one for a lot of people. If you already don't drink, or if you drink very, very rarely, and by that I mean like a couple times a year. I don't mean like once a week. So really reevaluate your alcohol consumption because it has a lot of effects that we might not really notice. And it contributes to a lot of people just feeling a little bit worse than they would if they did not drink. Um, Next one, 2 to 3 meals every single day are consistent and measured for your individual macro or calorie needs. So what that means is you have these like a catalog of breakfast and lunch, or like breakfast and dinner or lunch and dinner, whichever one is easier for you. 2 out of 3 of your daily meals are from that catalog, and it's like I know what it is, I know how much to eat, and I measure it out, and that's what I eat that day. And that guarantees you 60% adherence to your calories. And if you, in general, know your portion sizes, or if you are weighing your other meals, but maybe just not tracking it like down to the gram for your macros, then it's going to be pretty good. And that's a good way to approach maintenance. And for some people, that will feel like a really good balance of like, oh, I can cook dinners for my family that I really enjoy, and that they enjoy as well, but I can still stay on track with my goals because my first 2 meals are like structured. So having a mixture of that structure and freedom is something that uh, I tell my clients to try to find. For me personally, I like to have all of my meals measured and I try to eat out once per week. That's what works for me. That's what makes me feel the best. But some people might say, oh, like we like to eat out on the weekends. So, we'll get 2 or 3 meals out per week. But they have the structure like during the week, maybe all 3 of their meals are planned out. So whatever works, but that 2/3 rule is usually good. Hi, Shalise, welcome back.
Hi, sorry.
That's okay. I am talking about the guidelines for people if they just like bare minimum guidelines. So let me finish going through these and then we can go back to that other conversation. Um, Next would be 3 workouts per week that actually challenge your muscles. So whatever that means to you, make sure that you are working out your entire body 3 times a week, and then 1 to 2 cardio activities during the week as well. Um, I also think that it's important not to snack or drink your calories like an asshole. So don't be like chugging Gatorade or I mean, honestly, even drinking a bunch of fruit juice all the time. There's a lot of calories in things that are still like healthy for you. Smoothies, acai bowls. I'm guilty of it, but just know what you're putting in your body, especially if it's liquid. And then snacking is something that can totally really, really quickly throw off your maintenance and not feel like you are because it doesn't keep you full. And that's something that, when you're being strict with a diet, you usually cut out snacks. But in a maintenance phase, it's a lot more tempting to look in the pantry and just be like, oh, I'll take a little bite. So all of that can add up and can make you get out of that maintenance range pretty quickly. And then last two are to actually pay attention to your stress and your sleep schedule. So um, if you are not working out as much as you were when you were forcing a change, whether it was building muscle or losing fat, you might have like a little bit less stress, but you might also be less tired. So sleep can go either way, but maintaining a good sleep schedule and sleep hygiene is super important. And that's something that really everybody should do. And then the last one is to just please drink water. Please remember to drink water all the time. Speaking of,
Can we go back to the sleep really quick? Like I think that's
yes.
incredibly underrated. Um, for so many reasons. So when you're not getting enough sleep, like you have more cravings. I mean, you're up longer, so you're more likely to do what you were just saying about stacking. All those things are going to start to add up, and like there's a bunch of studies out there that show that your body fat, how much body your body fat percentage does increase. I mean, because of certain things like cortisol levels and stress and all of that that you're going through, and how it does hinder fat loss progress. Like super, super underrated as far as how important sleep is. And just one night can totally throw you off. And the other thing is, like, all these people are like, oh, but I caught up over the weekend. No, actually, you can't catch up over the weekend. There is no such thing. Like, you really want your body to get in a really good circadian rhythm and wake up around the same time. And I know not everybody's going to wake up at whatever time in the morning that they're waking up for work, but trying to be as consistent as you can with that, because I mean, everything from like if you're waking up later, you're eating later and your digestion is off, everything, and your body very much runs on a system. So sleep is really super underrated as far as your overall health goals go.
Hmm. I was just texting a friend actually, and we were talking about them waking up earlier so that they could read in the morning. And they were like, what am I, an adult? Like a grown up? I have to go to bed on time so I can wake up on time? Like I have a bedtime now? Yeah,
Yeah,
it is real. And it's so hard because some nights you're like, well, what if we just like watch one more? Or, I mean, I like last night, for example, I went to a concert and I was up till 1. And this morning I wake up, I'm like, all right, it's 7. I guess I'm gonna do this. You got
right.
like a little bit of a headache. It's like there's a couple hours of recovery um as an adult.
Sure.
So just the fact that like if you can feel that the next morning, you have to realize that that's the impact on your body. You may not like see it with your eyes, but if you feel a little bit groggy and you feel a little bit off, and you do have more cravings or you're more hungry that day, like think about what your sleep was like the night before and don't just assume like, oh, I should eat more food because I'm hungry or I shouldn't work out because I'm tired. Like there are times to work out and to not work out. Like if you got 2 hours of sleep, maybe don't go work out. But if you got your 5 instead of 8, like Shalase, what's your rule on when to work out and not?
As far as like with sleep and stuff,
Yeah.
I always tell my clients to prioritize their sleep for sure. Um, I don't know that I have a hard rule on it necessarily, but I'm like, if you know that you didn't sleep well, and if it was restless sleep, like don't go work out. Like, and most of the time, we're not training 6 days a week, so it's not like if you like, you don't have to. You can always push it back another day. You know,
Yeah.
so like I would rather them get good rest than to train on an unrested body, but like be reasonable about it too. Like just like you said, if you're normally getting 8 and you got 6, you're going to be probably just fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Um, well, that's pretty much everything that I had. We do have about 20 more minutes that we can chat. So, I don't know if Shalise, you wanted to go back and talk any more about what it means to like earn a physique, or if there's anything else that you wanted to touch on from the call. Um, we
um,
can backtrack.
I would say like let's not go back to that because I don't want it to feel choppy and weird. I'm sure you touched on it after I left, so yeah.
Okay. Well then we could talk about our experiences or any client stories. Um, I think like what I want people to get from this call is just an idea of where they're at right now, um, and what needs to change, like for them to be able to either achieve their goal or to maintain it. So I think sometimes there's confusion about when people are working toward a goal. It's like there is an end date. And I don't know that enough people make it clear of like what that end date actually looks like and what transitioning into maintenance actually looks like. Because I think that that's the most important, um, for fat loss clients, especially, or someone coming out of a bodybuilding prep. I think that that transition is the most important piece. Like it sets the tone for the rest of their journey. It sets the tone for the majority of their time that they're going to be spending, working out and eating. And if you start off you end your diet by like going out to get pizza or having like a really sweet sugary cookie, that's not really setting yourself up for success. And kind of in the same way, if you just go cold turkey and like stop all of your cardio or stop working out altogether and you just like go on a vacation and party in your new body, your body is not going to appreciate that change. So how do we, you know, maybe I was just thinking like maybe some stories of either bad reverses out of a diet or a prep, or lessons that we've learned or clients have learned along the way would be helpful to for people to hear like real stories of what it means to go into maintenance and some of the harsh realities that you face when you do switch things up on your body from either a diet or a prep and then go into like kind of like normal life.
I will like so one thing that just got brought up just the other day with somebody like 'cause I know a lot of this was talking about I think I know I missed a bunch, but I'm sure you touched on like daily habits and stuff, right? Or no?
Um, no, go for it.
No? Okay. Well, I mean obviously like if you're aiming for a certain physique, a certain look, like you have to have habits in place, whether I mean bodybuilding prep or just a fat loss phase or a maintenance phase, whatever it is, you have these daily habits that are in place, like eating at a certain time, the sleep, all those things that we were just talking about, hydration, all the little daily things that add up. um and I had a more recent client to me. She's like, I do great on the weekends, but my daily habits fall apart, or my habits fall apart on the weekend. I said, if they fall apart on the weekend, then they're not habits. Like it's you have a routine, a set routine at work because it's convenient, but when it's inconvenient on the weekend, then you fall apart. And so it's not necessarily a habit yet. You haven't developed those habits just yet. I go, that's fine. That's fine. You know, she's new to this. She's new to following like nutrition and all that kind of stuff. And I said, that's fine. We'll build to that. That's our whole point. And, you know, she's like, you know what? You're right. Thank you for calling me out of my shit. Cause you're right. Like I'm my barrier right now. She's like, I do because, and I get it for those people because, and I think we've talked about this before, but how important that support system is at home because one person doing it, it sets, I don't want to say it messes up the routine, but it definitely switches up the routine for everybody else in the house too.
Mhm.
Especially when it's a parent doing it, right? Um, so it is harder, 100% harder to do it on the weekends when everybody around you isn't doing what you're doing. So yeah, I get it, and it is, but it's like, okay, what is your goal? It like, you came here for the accountability. What is your ultimate goal? Like, do I enjoy the weekends with friends? Absolutely. Or my husband or whatever. Absolutely. Like we plan a date night, we do something, like there's a free meal in there. There's those things, they're in place. Like I'm not super strict all the time, like 100% weighing everything all the time consistently. So there is that balance and there has to be a balance too, but there also has to be like I have, and I think you hold on. I think based off of your notes, you talked about, oh shoot, I just lost my train of thought. Um, Set meals, right? A couple meals that are the same. Was that on your notes?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I said 2 out of 3 of your meals each day are, like, structured and measured
Yeah.
and based on your calorie or macro goal.
And that's what my weekends look like is
Mhm.
I have set meals. Like there I have three meals that are exactly the same pretty much every day. I switch out maybe the vegetable, maybe the fruit, but it's the same exact thing every day. And then I that one meal at night with friends, with family, whatever it is my okay, I can kind of, but I here's the other thing is I've also been doing this for 10 to 12 years of being on something, some sort of plan, something. And I can intuitively eat in that way too. I have those daily habits ingrained and they're just a part of my lifestyle too. So I mean, are there days I go balls to the wall and just enjoy myself? Absolutely. Is it all the time? No, because I can eyeball shit and I know like that's kind of like the disadvantage of doing our job and having the job we do and knowing what we know about nutrition is you know everything in your head. You're like, oh shit, that's a lot of fat. Oh shit, that's not enough protein. That's too many carbs. Like you're having those conversations with yourself in your in your brain about what you're eating too. But it's also, I mean, disadvantage in that you're having that mental conversation with yourself about your choices. But it's also a good thing because you can back off a little bit and not, not overindulge all the time also because you know how it's going to make your body feel, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, when I, went on my honeymoon, my goal with getting an Airbnb was so that I could eat 2 out of the 3 meals a day, basically, that I knew were gonna make me feel good. I was like, "'Cause if I feel like crap on my honeymoon, I'm gonna be pissed." Like, I don't wanna be bloated on my honeymoon, so not cute, on the beach in Hawaii, no.
Yep.
And like I didn't want to have to, like my stomach be upset or whatever. So like I would have eggs and oatmeal every single morning. It was delicious. And then like, I bought some rice and some fish and like I mean, we ate a lot of poke. So that was easy.
Yeah.
But like yeah, we found options that just like were better than doing the alternative. And I think proving to yourself over time that that is the better route is half the battle. Um, but what was the other thing that you said that I wanted to comment on? Oh, I just had a client recently who was talking about how um, this is how you were saying, like because of what we do, we know like we and a lot of our clients, now that they're thinking about it, they know what is in food and they know if it's going to be helpful to get to their goals or if it's going to potentially set them back. Um, and I had a client talk about how she doesn't really enjoy eating out at certain places anymore, not just because of the mental side of things where she's like, "Oh, this isn't like fitting my macros," but because she's paying more attention to how she's feeling. And she's like, "It's honestly not even worth it. Like, I don't get the satisfaction. It doesn't even taste as good anymore because my taste buds have changed." And so in one way that can feel a little sad, um, but being open-minded enough to accept that stuff as like a positive and just find new ways to like, oh great, like now I guess that means I get to save money, I don't have to eat there anymore. You know, like you can still get that food for your family if that's something that they want, but you don't necessarily have to participate. And it's like that's something that I personally found was difficult, was feeling like certain foods that maybe used to be a little bit of like an emotional Band-Aid, they stopped hitting the same way, and I was not pleased. I was like, "You're supposed to make me feel better," or it's like that meme where it's somebody looking at it's like me looking at a cheeseburger like, "You better fix my life, you little shit." You better fix all my emotional issues. It's like, it doesn't. And the more you pay attention, the more it doesn't. So, um,
Well, and that's like I'll relate that to like burgers in general. I'm with you. I love burgers. Absolutely love them. But I'm not going to go get one at McDonald's or a Burger King or that. Like, I want a gourmet burger made out of real freaking meat, beef, and all the good shit. I don't want this stuff. So, like that, like, I can't tell you the last time I've had fast food. And like, I see these people who live off of fast food, and I'm like, if you only knew how much better your body would feel if you were eating real food, you know?
yeah,
But I mean, like, it's like instances like that, like, so like you say, and like, well, it's sad because I don't go out to eat these places, but I don't miss McDonald's. I don't miss Burger King. I don't miss those places. Like, I'm gonna go get a good damn burger somewhere else that's cooked well, you know?
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I get it. And sometimes I do drive by McDonald's and I'm like, oh my gosh, that the fries smell so good. But I don't like whatever. It's whatever to me now.
I have a very vivid memory of being like 6 or something and loving the cubed onions on McDonald's cheeseburgers, and, like, how there was it was, like, in the ketchup with those little cubed onions, and so I think it's almost like a nostalgic thing to where I wish it still tasted the way that it did. Like, I remember sorry, guys, this is, like I'm totally exposing myself in my burger obsession, but I remember biting into like a double burger from Wendy's and being like, these square patties are answering my prayers right now. And like it was so good, right? And so, but you have it again, and then you realize like this is not the same. So you kind of have to like let go of that thing that once was giving you so much so much joy. So I know not everybody is like this with food. But if you are like this with food, then maybe you can relate to like having to let go of some of those memories and being like, "Oh man, I guess we're not like friends anymore." So, yeah, I actually just had Royce Burger downtown for the first time. Have you been there, Schlase?
I have not.
It's a bar and they serve burgers and they're very reasonably priced.
Maybe I have
For
been down there. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, it's like this little dark like it's very textured. All of the walls have texture on it. It's crazy. But the ceiling too has like textured ceiling panels. But yeah, it was really tasty. I'm pretty sure I got my sodium intake for like 3 days worth from just that one meal, but I was okay with it. I chugged water after and that was a good burger. So shout out to Royce Burgers. That was really tasty. That was an example of like a good burger to where I would go get that because it's like restaurant style burger. It's not like McDonald's. So finding better quality versions of the food that you do want to eat out is key for sure. But we got a little distracted on food. What about
Yeah.
workouts? Because I think I don't know about your clients, Shalise, but I have a lot of people who just struggle with finding an activity that like they can stick to. And how much of that would you say is like you just have to do it long enough to enjoy it? Because maybe this is me having coach brain, but I have trouble thinking that if someone were to do any activity long enough, like they would have to fall in love with it. It could because it does feel so good and your body wants to move. Um, so knowing that, like, how do you bridge that gap of people finding an activity that they can do for long enough to be able to actually start to like it to where they want to include it in their routine? Because I feel like a lot of times as coaches, we feel like we're just forcing our clients, like, okay, you gotta go in the gym. You gotta go do your cardio. You gotta go do literally anything. Walk around the block. I don't care. Just you gotta just move your body. Um, and it's like it's a hard it's a hard sell sometimes. And then it's hard for us because we're like, why don't you love this thing? I love this thing. Can you love this thing with me?
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that one because I only say that because I think the majority of people who reach out to me know what I'm about, if that makes sense. So
Uh-huh.
when I do have clients that come on board, most of them have some sort of weightlifting background. So I don't know that I've necessarily dealt with that. Like I've only had
Mm,
a handful maybe who don't enjoy to work out, I
yeah.
guess. And I mean, I would say this, like it is really hard for, my class people, like F45s and
Uh-huh.
Orange Theory people. It's very, very hard to change their mind on what they're doing because they do love the atmosphere of those classes, and I totally understand it. So it is a little bit more difficult to change. And I don't want to say change their mind because I always tell them, like, do it, just don't do it 5 or 6 days a week. Like we got to find some sort of balance too, um, with that, because a lot of the time, especially with the women, like those things are sometimes the things that are wrecking their hormones the most because they're constantly pushing themselves. So, I mean, as far as, yeah, I have a hard time answering your original question because I don't have a lot of people who don't enjoy it in some way, have some way to incorporate it in their lives. Like I said, I've had a handful.
Yeah.
And when I did have a handful, it was just like, it was, then we're gonna nail this nutrition then, because
Mhm.
that's all we can work with at this point.
Yep. Totally. Yeah, I feel like there are so many different avenues for fitness nowadays, especially. Like you can do a pole class, you can do dancing, you can do, like you said, Orange Theory at 45, there's high rocks. Like there's so many ways to get involved that's not necessarily just going to the gym and lifting weights. Um, but you have to find something that you're passionate about. Like that's a coach can't make you passionate about an activity so that you feel like you actually need to train for it. Like to me, I think that's one of the most common drivers is like there's something else you want to do and that's why you go to the gym. Like you don't have to love the gym. You don't have to force yourself to love the gym if you've tried it for long enough and you're like this really just isn't like my thing. I don't get it. I don't get any joy from it. If that's you, that's okay, but you do have to find something else, some other form of movement that you are passionate about, and then use the gym to get better at that thing. If you like to play volleyball, hi, me, um, go to the gym. You can do some sprints. You can make your legs stronger, make your glutes stronger. You'll jump higher. You'll be able to move better. Like do good exercises for your shoulders so that they get stronger and you don't have as much pain and you're less susceptible to injury. There's so many things that you can do for your sport. If it's pole, you need a ton of strength in order to do like pole classes and dancing. Like even if it's just cardio that you're doing, like all the things that you can do in the gym will make the other things in your life easier. So if that's just your day-to-day existence, then maybe that's what you need to become passionate about. It's like get more passionate about improving your day-to-day existence and recognize the benefits that the gym has. Like, yes, you will be sore waking up, but over time, you'll be stronger so that you don't injure your back when you're trying to like pick something heavy up off the ground, or you can carry all the groceries in one trip and like not be super out of breath or feel like you pulled your shoulder out of its socket. Um, so I don't know. It's kind of the question that we all need to think about for ourselves. It's like, how passionate are you? What are you passionate about? Something okay, I know we have, like, 2 minutes left, but one thing I did wanna kinda talk about on this call is, it's talked about on social media a decent amount, but the idea of, like, the last 5 to 10 pounds. Um, how do you feel about that, Shalice? People wanting to lose, like, the last 5 to 10 pounds to where I guess, have you ever had a client who wants to continue losing weight and you're like trying to tell them you're at a healthy spot right now. Do you really want to like push to this next level? Is that a common thing that you hear?
Um, Not common with lifestyle. Obviously, competitors, very different story. Um, so, but I mean, I guess the occasional moments that I've had those like last 5 or 10 pounds, it's that then let's have a discussion of what that really means to
Mhm.
you, because this is where you're gonna have to go, like, almost bodybuilding preps type stuff, kind of to get those last 5 to 10 pounds. And why is that 5 to 10 pounds so important to you? Why is it the weight? Why isn't it more your progress in the gym and your strength in the gym and that kind of stuff versus the last 5 to 10 pounds, or body composition changes? But it's, yeah, I mean, a lot of conversations around like the really what it's going to take to get to that point. And sometimes it's like, okay, well, okay, we could possibly, but let's go back to a little maintenance phase for a while to let your body recover, and then let's go back to that if we can and see what we can get. But I mean, it really is um that conversation with them about what it would take to get to that last 5 to 10 pounds, because it might not be a healthy place, and we don't want to run the body into the ground at that point.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. Especially considering I think people don't think about that, even if you are doing everything right, when you are losing fat, you're also probably going to lose muscle.
Yeah. Well, that, and
So,
then I mean your body is in like, no, like I'm happy and comfortable right here. So those last 5 to 10 pounds are going to be very hard to do because your body is going to want to survive. And so it's going to
mhm,
push back on everything. Like your metabolic rate is going to slow down, like your fidgeting, just your daily movement, like just the little things that you do, like waving your hands when you talk, like all of that stuff is going to stop or um, decrease because your body's like, nope, I don't have the energy for this, because you are trying to lose the last 5 to 10 pounds. So there's a lot of things to like take into consideration with that. Like, what are you willing to really like how far do you want to dig deep into this or dig yourself into this,
yeah.
because it might not even be worth it. Like, you're in a healthy spot. Let's be excited about how your body is functioning right now. And like, I
Mhm.
mean, I talk about it all the time with my clients. Is your digestion good? Is your sleep good? Is your energy good? Are you making progress in the gym? Are all of those things going well? Then why does it matter how much weight you lose? Okay, so cut off an arm, you just lost weight. Cool. Is that going to make you happy? Like,
No, you're bleeding out.
yeah, like, why does it have to be a weight loss goal?
Yeah. Yep. I don't know why.
I mean, I get fat loss, like I get that,
Um,
but yeah, I mean, I get it. Everybody, it's a number. It's a number everybody can be attached to, and I understand that side of
mhm.
it. But I think you just need to put into perspective to people that it's more than just that number on the scale. There's so many other things that are going well and that you should focus on versus that last 5 to 10 pounds.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. I think we can probably wrap up. As far as takeaways for this call, um, I want people to be encouraged that they can reach their physique goals, but realistic at the same time. So just balancing those two. Find a physique that, or either find or imagine a physique that makes you feel like whoever has that physique, whatever version of you, is like the best version of you, where it's kicking butt and taking names. And then go for it. Like, hire a coach to help you get there so that you know that you're doing what you need to do in order to reach it. And also so that you can get a good idea of the timeline that it might take by working with a coach. But once you do reach that point, or once you do get like you're happy with your results, don't stop. Find a new
Yeah.
routine that works for you and actually learn to love that routine and prioritize it in a similar way that you would as if you were trying to make a change. Like, I don't know if there's any way to do this without having it be part of your life. So if something that you desire, like Lacey, you mentioned this earlier, if something you desire is to look like you work out or to look like an athlete, that's something that you have to do in order to have. So you have to behave like an athlete in order to look like one. You have to work out hard and be committed to it in order to look like you work out hard and are committed to it. So whatever thing you think, like if someone's going to look at you on the street, or if you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and think, "Oh, I look like blank." You have to be that in order to look it. There are no shortcuts. So you want to look healthy, you got to be healthy, and that does take effort in all phases. But I think it gets easier.
It definitely does. And that's the other thing too, like you talked about phases, like, and know that it might take a couple phases to get to that point. That it's not just
Yeah.
you're not just gonna diet down for 12 weeks and then, go back to maintenance and everything's gonna be great. Like it might it might take a couple times, depending on if this is brand new to you or if this is like a lifestyle you've had for a long time or not. So different phases are gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody's got a different starting point, and you
Yeah.
have to learn and you have to build up the skills.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry I missed part of the call.
That is okay. We are glad that you were here. Um, Great. Well, next week we have a fun one coming up. It is the lower body blueprint. Our top exercise picks for leg and glute growth. So for all of our leg and glute uh boys and girls, girls and boys, join us next week. And we'll talk through our favorite exercises for growth. We'll probably also talk a little bit about like set and rep schemes and other intensifiers for those exercises, but we'll explain why they are our favorites. And then you guys can go give them a try.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, Shalase, if you guys didn't know, Shalase is probably the most well known for her brutal leg days. So
Not that bad.
so, but hey, it works. So, yeah, from experience, I can say that there's a plan called tree trunks. So, yeah.
All about goals.
Mhm. Right on. Thank you guys for listening. We will talk to you in a week.
See you guys next week.